All right, so we all know that Akai has just dropped their new 3.0 beta update, and a lot of the beta testers have been making videos and stuff like that. And I've really kind of felt a little burnt out from it because there's already a lot of videos being made on it, and it's a lot of hype, and it hasn't even reached a public beta yet. So I know it's going to be even more once the public beta hits. But I wanted to talk about something very near and dear to a lot of you Native Instruments users, and that is, will there ever be a Maschine 3.0 update? Because I have no clue either. Bolo! All right, before we get started, make sure you guys go ahead and click on my link in the description and head over to Zounds.com. They have a whole bunch of music equipment on their site, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on their site that requires no credit or background check, meaning you can order it, they'll ship it to you, and then you can just pay it off in monthly installments, and all you just need is a credit or debit card hooked up to the account. So if you guys want to get some equipment today, go ahead and click that link in the description and head over to Zounds.com right now. Had a little dust on it, haven't used this MK3 in a while, but I've most certainly been using this. This is actually kind of cool right here. The Maschine Plus, if you don't know what this is. All right, there we go. So if you're a Native Instruments user, you probably got an email with a survey in it asking you, what would you like to see in future updates for the Maschine? And of course, I got that email and I answered a few questions and stuff, whatever. And, I put in my input on some things that I would like to see in the Maschine, especially the Maschine Plus, because the Maschine software is actually pretty damn good, considering that it's missing out on a few things. And I can definitely tell that they're really taking their time on this because I think they really want to get it right before they even roll it out, even though it's been forever. And then even though Akai is doing so many updates and they're rolling out so many instruments and sounds and stuff like that, Native Instruments seems like they're taking a very slow approach to this. And I don't know how much more I could take, just to be honest with you. Now, shout out to Native Instruments for actually building a very good Maschine, because when this came out, I didn't understand it at first, but then now I've been using it for a few years now. I can kind of say that it's actually not a really bad workflow, and they actually have a lot of stuff that came out that was way ahead of its time. Now, they do have a few things that I feel needs to be updated, and if they do come out with a new update, within the next 5 or 10 years, hopefully it'll be one by then, right? Something. But I hope that they either add a few things or they fix some things that would, kind of make things a little bit better. Now, these are things that I've been talking about for a very long time. And hopefully, maybe, enough of us can say, hey, let's kind of get the ball rolling on a few of these things. Now, it's not much. It's not much at all. One of the main things that I've always was saying was we need to have, MP3 support to where we can import and export our songs out in MP3. I think that would be kind of cool to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to export MP3 and then we can just upload it to our emails or whatever, because let's be truthfully honest. Most of the times when we send beats, we either send them in a MP3 type of a fashion because nobody really wants to open up a whole WAV file. And then I know some people talk about the quality and everything like that, but I haven't had one artist that's come to me and said, hey, man, I would rather you send that beat in a WAV form because I can hear the difference. It hasn't happened to me. If it happens to you, let me know, but it has not happened to me yet. Another thing I would like to see is a better Maschine control over external instruments. I would like to see like a different way to we can control our external instruments. They do have it in here. I made a video on doing that. It's not that hard, but it is a little like too clunky. Like it's not there yet. Like they need to make it a little bit more streamlined to where we can select our instruments and everything and be able to use our instruments, our external instruments a little bit easier. Now, another thing that I've always been talking about, and this is probably the 10th video that I talked about this, is warping our samples after we chop up our samples. Same way you can do it in Akai and in other programs, to where you can go in, you can actually take your sample, set your start and end loop points on there, then go ahead and chop up your samples. You might even chop them up and play them in a certain tempo, but then you might say, hey, you know what? I think I want to speed, this thing up, and you can go ahead and just speed it up. You won't be losing like any type of audio quality, and the sample won't sound like pitched or whatever. It'll just be like sped up, and then that way you can still retain your chops and then decide on what tempo you want to have those chops at. Now, I would like to see a nice little warping function like that. Now, I know you can do it by automatically like getting your sample to the desired, tempo you want it at, and then you can go ahead and truncate that sample and do all that stuff like that, and then chop it up from there. But it would be dope if we can just go ahead, chop up our samples, play them out, and then just decide on what tempo we want to keep it at without it not being pitched up and, all that crazy stuff like that. That would be very dope. And then last but not least, I think we should be able to use third-party contact instruments. I think that'll be very dope if we can use third-party contact instruments inside of the Maschine Plus. Now, we already have it to where we can use samples inside of it. We have it to where we can use the expansions inside of it. So I think it'll be kind of cool if we can take third-party expansion samples and stuff like that and use that inside of Contact and bring that over, especially to the Maschine Plus. That'll be very dope, because I know you can do it inside the software, but inside the Maschine Plus, that'll be very dope if we can take the third-party contact sounds and put that in there, because there's a lot of dope contact libraries out there, and I think being able to add that into the Maschine Plus, especially like in standalone mode, that would be great. And wait a minute, I'm tripping. There's two other things. One thing is when you go to your piano roll, when you select the actual note in the piano roll, it would be dope if you can actually hear the note. So when you're moving the note, you would know if it's in key or not. So that'll be actually very good to have a really good piano roll to where you can take the note, and if you want to adjust it to like a different note or a different scale or whatever, you can hear the note when you're actually moving it. That'll be dope. And then another thing is like when you're selecting the internal sounds, like from your expansions or whatever, and you're kind of like scrolling through them, it's cool that you can hear the sound, but I would like to have an option where I can turn that off, and then when I actually select the sound, I can just play it on my MIDI keyboard or on the pads and hear it in the key that I'm actually playing it in on the pads. Because sometimes when I'm in a certain key and I'm scrolling through the sounds are not in the same key that my song is in, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. So I have to select the sound and hope that it sounds good with the key that it's in. So it'll be dope if I could just turn that off, scroll through the sounds, and then just play it on my board once it gets to that sound, rather than me hearing the demo of the sound in a totally different key. So, I think that'll be dope too. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, you got track mutes in here for your different scenes. They still got the track mutes and stuff like that in here as well. So, just being a little messy right now. It's all fun and games though. But other than that, like, I really think that they really did a good job, especially with like the Maschine Plus and, the Maschine software, on how you can import your samples. They're automatically, like, you press one button, they automatically play across the keys and stuff like that on the Maschine Plus. If you put it inside of the software, it automatically plays across the keys. They have the disc streaming. They already have a linear way of editing your songs inside of the Maschine Plus. So it's a lot of great features that they already have. I think there's just a few things that they need to upgrade, and they don't really have to do much. Now, with all the fanfare with the MPC stuff going on right now, I think this is a great time for Maschine to kind of roll this out, hopefully sometime soon. I really don't have too many details on it. I just know about the surveys and a few other things going on. But behind the scenes, I know that they're working on getting some of this done, but they just taking a little time. But yeah, there's a lot of great features in this. The Maschine software is great. You can build your beats really fast in there. The Maschine Plus is actually dope. I can build my beats really fast in there. They have like a linear editing thing going on there as well. It's a little difficult because they don't have a touch screen and nothing like that. So you got to kind of use all the knobs and stuff like that. But when is 3.0 coming out? We need a 3.0 update. It shouldn't be this long. It shouldn't be this long. But hopefully, It'll come out soon. The ball is in y'all court right now. You know, y'all can go ahead and do y'all thing. But you guys let me know what you think they should, possibly add to a 3.0 update if it ever comes out anytime soon. I just want to know what you guys would like to have in another update for the Maschine line of machines. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something from it or got something from it. And like I always say, peace out.